Apan sa atong pagpaningkamot, unta nga dili nato kalimtan ang mga ginikanan nga nagamping og nagmahal kanato. Usahay, ang labing bililhon nga regalo nga atong mahatag kanila dili mahal nga butang, kundi ang atong oras, ang pagpaminaw ug ang pagpakita nga sila importante sa ato. Salamat, Ma.
Next episode para sa Discover Western Visayas. Welcome to Mambucal Resort and Wildlife Sanctuary in the municipality of Morcian Negros Occidental. Discover its beauty in a spectacular mountainous setting, from scenic waterfalls to natural hot springs. It provides an unforgettable experience that will leave you amazed. Let's create unforgettable memories and appreciate the beauty of nature this Friday, August 22, 8 to 9 p.m., only here on INCRadio.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our listeners and viewers here on INCradio Micronesia. My name is Sister Randy Reyes from the local congregation of Machanao, and I will be your host for this evening. And joining me tonight is one of our crew members, Ate Maricel.
Good morning, good evening, half a day, everyone. I'm Sister Marisol Soria, coming to you from the local congregation of Upper Heights here on the island of Guam. And I'm so excited to be co-hosting with Sister Randy tonight.
Thank you so much, Ate. I'm also very excited. And I'm also excited for our topic that we have this evening. And our topic is Start Where You Stand. So we want to know what is the purpose of moving forward and how we should accept that we should not worry about where we should be, but more about where we are, right now, here in the present. And, to tell us more about this, we actually have some guests joining us tonight. So we will start with Ate Kui.
Hello, everyone. Hello, INCradio Micronesia. It's good to be back. I'm Sister Kui Leomo. I'm from the local of Manila. I'm a CWS teacher, and I'm a choir member.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, Ate Kui. And also with her tonight, we have someone from her local congregation as well, Ate Angie.
Hi everyone, good evening, good morning. I am Angelo Arceles. I am also from the local of Manglao, and I am also a choir member.
Thank you so much, Ate Angie and Ate Kui. So we'll start with Ate Kui. So Ate Kui, as we talk about starting where you stand, right? What is one step, even a small one, that you can take from today, from where you are?
Maybe I can give one. So as a CWS teacher, Sister Randy and I are batchmates as CWS teacher. I would always type up my questions as guiding questions, and I would always rely on it, just looking at it. But now, just this week, I took the step to actually not type out my questions. I would just remember them. I would study harder. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to take this step to improve on my duty. Yeah. So
yes, I agree, Ate Kui.
Yeah, Sister Randy, in our class, we're always reminded to take our duty on a higher level each time. So that is me making that step.
Yes, as she mentioned, we were batchmates as we became teachers. And, just to give everyone a fact, when we became teachers, we were studying online. So, we had access to whatever we could at that time. So, we kind of had to learn different ways of having to deliver the lesson, right? But I wanted to also just ask from Ate Maricel, because she also used to be a CWS teacher, is your experiences, maybe are they different from ours? or those kinds of things.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to reminisce on those days. I do really miss being a CBS teacher, so make sure you guys cherish those opportunities. It's such a beautiful duty, and you guys really do good work. So yeah, I remember going through a very similar thing. During our training, the ministers who were interested to teach my batch, we were pushed to get off of the preacher's guide before we even started teaching on our own. And then after graduating and taking oath, there were some of my batchmates that chose to still have a preacher's guide, and that's a stylistic choice. For myself, I found that the preacher's guide was a little bit it made me a little stiff. I wasn't able to respond to the children and adjust myself to their energy levels or the different ages as I got assigned from different congregation to congregation. So I found myself looking for other strategies very soon after teaching on my own. And so I think it might have been my stylistic choice to just kind of color code my lessons instead of writing. And then I think getting off of that is definitely a sign of growth, in that you really do have to work hard to not be dependent off an outline. And, relating it to other things too, that goes for anything involving public speaking or presentation to others, and especially in the context of teaching.
Yes, because I know that public speaking is not easy. Even before I became a CWS teacher, I was not the biggest fan of public speaking. I did not want to go up and, speak in front of people. I was like, oh, I will create the outline for you, but you can speak. I was that kind of person. But, here I am now as CWS teacher, and also here hosting on INCRadio. And, it's really interesting to see that, even if we are all CWS teachers, right, we all have our different ways on how we want to study the lesson and things like that, but it all ties into we not only are teaching the future of the church, we are also helping ourselves to grow more in our faith, right, more spiritually. So I think it's really interesting that is just what all ties us all together. I also wanted to hear from Ate Angie, right? Because, she also holds a different career from Ate Kui and also holds different offices. So Ate Angie, what is one, step, even a small one, that you can take today from where you are?
And I feel like this is a little bit bigger or maybe smaller for some of us. But then this is being present, like being present on what we are in right now. I think that's mostly the problem also of us right now, because sometimes we do tend to, think about the things about the future and all of those. But I think if you're taking the next step on your journeys, you have to enjoy the moment. You have to live in the moment.
Yeah, so I think it's important that we take in what Ate Angie said, because she said, like, oh, I don't know if this is, a small step, but it was small to her, but it can be big to others, right? Because again, it's to each their own. So I think it's really important, even if you're just taking the smallest step, as in like, you're just pausing and taking a breath and then thinking about what you're gonna do for the rest of the day. I think that's already a big step to take, right? Because you want to slow yourself down. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with too many things, because you will kind of want to take everything one day at a time. So I think that's why it's so important that even if it's big to others, it might be small to you, or whatever is small to you might be big to others. But again, everyone goes through different things, and it's everyone's progress is different, but even little progress is still progress, right? So Ate Marisol, like, do you think that, like, even if we're all in different fields, right? For example, we can hold the same duties, but outside, like in our professional lives, we have different fields, like teachers or nurses. Like, even if we have different things that we want to pursue in life, like what what advice would you think, or what kind of steps would you take in order, to continue to start from where you are?
Um, Ooh, that's a heavy question. So I really want to highlight what Sister Angie said, where, we have to cherish where we are in the moment. I know that's not verbatim what she said, but I feel like that's the take home message that I got from her beautiful answer. And being being the oldest on the call today, I the advice that I have is truly take that to heart, because yes, it's good to have ambition and it's good to plan ahead, but you will be amazed how fast time flies. You heard me earlier, just 5 minutes ago, saying how much I miss being a CBS teacher. I never thought that it would have come as fast as it did. I remember back in the days where our teaching ministers would just be like, don't get married too early because you want to cherish having your duty, right? And at first it was just a joke, like, I got time, right? But no, here I am, and I miss it so much. And same for not just your duties, but the other parts of your life too. The way that education is typically set up, especially in the American setting, it's easy to think that there's some sort of timeline that we have to meet, 4 years of high school, 4 years of undergrad. Some people go straight to graduate school or a training school, or some people go straight to work. And that may look like the typical path that you may have to follow, but the reality of the matter is that that's not the only path. And sometimes there isn't that timeline. What matters is that we keep moving forward and we don't stay stagnant, right? And that we continue to grow as better version of ourselves, and most of all, as better servants of our Almighty God. There's not really a one right timeline that we have to follow, and recognizing that helps us become more grateful for every little step that we're able to take. So with that being said, our lovely guests today, they gave us some really good context into what they do and the ways that they're growing in certain aspects of their lives. But we want to also hear their advice too. So sometimes when we have these big lofty goals, moving forward can seem very intimidating, right? So we can start with Sister Angie this time. How can starting small be just as powerful as starting big or making those big grand moves?
When I read the question, like how can starting small be just as powerful as starting big, I read the starting word, because in that starting word you have the word start. So even though just like what I've said, small or big steps, there's always a start to those steps. So I think it is, even though it's a small step, it's still a big step. So every steps will motivate us. It will help us grow in all of the things that we are doing.
Very well said, sis. I agree. How about you, Sister Clee?
So for me, I'm a little bit specific. Like I learned that even just starting small can have a big impact. So when this school year started, I started waking up a little bit early instead of my usual time. So before I would wake up at 7, now I would wake up at 6:20. I would take my time to walk my dog, drink coffee, and then just prepare myself for the morning, and then I can take a shower, get ready and all that, prepare my lunch and get to work on time. And that small step actually like improves my sleep, my just routine, just setting up myself for the day.
That's such a great example of something that seems like a very small change, but has such a big impact on, the various aspects of your life, whether that be the time that you have to be productive or the energy that you have to spend throughout the day. That's such a good example. So thank you for sharing that with us. And don't minimize that. Waking up early is not easy, especially after a hard, long day the day before, right? So thank you for sharing that with us. How about you, Sister Annie? Do you have an example as well?
Like I agree that waking up early is really not easy. for me, if I can be honest, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd rather just sleep in more because I have more time rather than like waking up early to, take my time and getting ready. Yeah. But, that's something that I think a lot of us need to work on. But, again, I think after hearing what everyone shared, it just shows that even no matter what steps you take, big or small, that already proves to yourself that you can do it, right? So that is already a sign enough that like even if you take the smallest step, or no matter how big or small it is to you or to others, like if that small step already shows a lot of improvement or progress, I think that's really all that matters, right? I remember I had a professor who told us, it's like planting a seed. It's really small at first, but over time, with progress and care, it'll grow into something bigger and stronger, right? So, I think that's so important for all of us to, really keep that in mind. And, I like that we can all learn from each other here. So I just wanted to, to tie it in, right, with our last question. We'll ask Ate Kui again. So, what habits or thoughts do you need in order to remind yourself to take the next step?
So, just a little backstory. I grew up in a setting where there's like a high expectations when it comes to education. So I always think about like improving in my career and what can I do to better myself. So recently I took on a new role at my job, and it's a little tough, but it's fulfilling. And I don't forget the thought of how can I use this skill and gift to improve in not just in my career but also in my duties in church, right? um I like how I excel in this part of my life, but at the same time, and the most important thing is, I should use this gift to excel in my spiritual life. So that's what I always think about, no matter what I do, especially my career, like public speaking, always being in a meeting and leading and saying all these complex words, even though English is my third language. So it helps me. It goes back to like being a CWS teacher. If I can do a meeting just talking to people with like just glancing on my notes on my report, I can do that in my lesson. And I should be more comfortable. I should be more confident in when I am CWS teacher, because I know that God is with me.
Yeah, Ate Kuya is so inspiring because she talks about she does public speaking like every single day of her life, and she's a CWS teacher, but she also has to do public speaking, with adults. So it's not with just children. So she meets with different kinds of people, right? It's not just children. So there's people out there who probably only know Ate Kuya as a CWS teacher, right? And they don't even know like what's her job, what is her career, right? So she's really she inspires me also to be more confident as a CWS teacher as well, even if we were in the same batch, right? And I think it's also important that you're setting those reminders for yourself, right? Even if it's just an alarm on your phone, or like a sticky note that you put like in your planner, if you use a planner, right? Or if you're using electronic calendar, right? So I think it's really important that we remind ourselves those kinds of things. And it's also, I think another thing is, you celebrate those small wins, those small progress, right? Like treating yourself for a coffee after, maybe Atakui had like a really long and tough meeting that she had to go through. So she's like, I want to treat myself to coffee. So, y- just the fact that she was able to, get through that meeting, right, is already progress enough that, she was able to do it. So I wanted to just also, ask Ate Angie as well, maybe in your career or in your duty, what are habits or thoughts do you need in order to remind yourself to take the next step?
So the first thing that I do is buying coffee. Joke. No, I like drinking coffee in the morning, of course. But also, just like Atikwi, I'm doing a new career on here too in Guam. So I just recently moved, and this is very different from the career that I had in Saipan. Well, I was a teacher in Saipan too, but here it's mostly like I'm talking to more professional settings too. Whenever it's I'm taking anything or I'm doing new things, I always pray, like really, because I need the guidance of our Almighty God, and I know that He will help me and give me courage, because um English is not also my first language, so it's so hard for me. Especially like it's more of like the people here are more foreign to me, so that's why I always pray just for him to guide me always.
Our guests tonight are so inspiring because also, I forgot to mention, right? Because at the Angie also mentioned it, that English is not even their first language. So that the fact that they have to speak all the time in their job, they have to do public speaking all the time, especially here where you speak, where English is the main language. I really salute them for that, because I English is my first language, and I can speak and understand other languages as well, but I don't use those languages often as I do with English. So the fact that that they've told us this, it inspires me even more, that we can do this, we can do anything, right? How about you, Ate Marisol? Like, what are some steps that um or habits that you take as well, in order to continue?
Let's see. I think Angie covered the most important one, which is prayer. I think whenever you're intimidated to move forward or try something new, or you're a little nervous, prayer is always one of the best ways, if not the best way, to help prepare yourself. In addition, I think I always talk about it with my family and my close friends too. Talking about it and then hearing that support from your loved ones, and sometimes not just support, but also like advice, right? Because whether it's reminding you about your strengths and your capabilities, or if they have that experience already because they're an elder, giving that advice to you and giving you more insight through that wisdom that they've gained is very valuable. So it's a habit of mine to pray and then also talk about it with those that I love and trust.
Yeah. So at the Angie, yeah, she did mention it. So as you know, we always say this, right? And even in our other broadcasts, do your best and God will do the rest, right? Because no matter like what we go through in this life, no matter how hard of a day we've had, and no matter what decisions we make, at the end of the day, it's whatever God plans for us, and whatever God decides for us is what we continue to follow. And I think just as what Ate Marisol and Ate Angie has mentioned, that it's always best to start and end your day with a prayer, right? So I think it's also important, because that's how it also helps us continue to grow, not just in our careers or that the things we do, but most especially to grow spiritually, to grow more in our faith, especially as officers who we teach the future of the church. So thank you so much to our sisters today, even at the Marisol as well, of course, to for joining us in our discussion. I wish we had more time to talk even more in our discussion. Like, I hope that not just me, but also our live viewers and those who are listening continue to be inspired by our discussion, because I know that I was. And I hope that our discussion also helped us to grow more in our faith. So as we continue with the rest of our broadcast, at the Marisol.
Thank you to all of our listeners who have tuned in today. If you want to stay more connected with INCRadio Micronesia, here's what you can do.
Hey, Team Live Chat! Thank you for supporting us. We love hearing about your experiences here on INC Radio. Let us also know where you are joining us from.
Are you familiar with our hashtag challenge? If not, you can also participate by mentioning your local congregation as well as which Christian family organization you belong to.
Near the end of our broadcast, we will announce the hashtag challenge winners, so please continue engaging with us in the comments below. We hope you have a nice day and enjoy our show.
Thank you, Kuya Tech, for letting our listeners know how to stay connected. So with that, we love hearing from all of our listeners. And today's YouTube engagement question is, what does progress look like for you? So we have some answers to our engagement questions. Jade Pasha says, progress to me looks like a movement that can always happen if we allow it to benefit us for our growth. No matter if we take small or big steps every day, it still shows amazing progress for us. Matt Pasha says, progress looks like a set of experiences that improve upon one another. Through trial and error, an accomplishment will be made in the end. John Michael Balmonte says, greetings both from hashtag San Jose. Progress every day is a progress because day by day we get closer to our Christian goal. Just hold on and remain steadfast. So thank you to everyone who tuned in and gave us their perspective on what progress looks like. We also have a lot of greetings from various brethren all over the world. So we have from our district staff, our district minister, Brother Joven Sapilio Jr. He says, good evening, brethren. Good evening, INCRadio Micronesia. Greetings to everyone tuning in, watching from the island of Yap. Hello po. Hello to all the ministers, ministerial workers, and family. And hello to my family, Sister Melody, Sabrina, CJ, and MJ. Our assistant district minister, Brother Julius Malabanan, says, greetings to Ka Joven and family po, and to my wonderful wife, Ka Michelle, and daughter, Bam Bam. Our CFO advising minister, Brother Roger Manzanilla Jr. says, greetings from hashtag Guam. Hello to our district minister, Ka Joven Sapilio Jr. and assistant district minister, Ka Julius Malabanan. From other districts, we have Mario Oka saying good evening here in the Philippines and enjoy watching here on INCRadio Micronesia Satellite Studio. Greetings from the locale of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. Nora Faigman says, happy viewing po mga mahal na kapatid mula po sa lokal ng Masaging 1, district ng Mindoro Oriental. And then we have Chloe Ginoy, pagbati po mula sa distrito ng Aklan, lokal ng Mabilo. Here on the home front from the locale of Guam, we have Jayward Julian saying good evening po to all the brethren from the beautiful island of Guam, district of Micronesia, and happy birthday po, Ka Mark Valencia. Happy birthday po! From Coberville, we have Sister Erin Villegas. Good evening po, District of Micronesia. Hello po to our District Minister, Brother Joven Sapilio Jr., and to our Assistant District Minister, Brother Julius Malabanan, and to their families po. Hashtag Coberville. From Koror, Palau, we have Sister Eileen Crelentia saying hello to everyone on INCRadio Micronesia. And she says hi to our host tonight, Sister Randy. From Machinao, we have Irene Reyes saying good evening po, and Remedios Galvez greeting us there in the chat. We have also brethren from San Jose, Saipan, Tinian, and Chigo, everyone saying hello and greeting us here on air today. Unfortunately, we don't have time to read all of the comments, but we're always so happy to hear from everyone. So before we end our show, we also want to recognize everything that Micronesia has going on, especially in the CFO. We stay so busy in the works of the faith here in our district. And so we want to tell you what's going on in Micronesia's lineup in our CFO in action.
CFO in action.
So upcoming events here in the District of Micronesia. Garapan has a Scan Radio Etiquette Seminar on August 23rd. We have our upcoming District Musical Evangelical Mission in Saipan, that'll be on August 29th, and in Guam on August 31st. After that, also on the same day, Garapan will have the CEBSI film showing for INCRadio. And that will be on August 31st, 2025. And with that, we're gonna go to Sister Randy to tell us about next week's show.
Thank you so much, Ate Maricel. And as we talk about inviting to our activities, we also want to invite you to next week's broadcast, which is on Friday, August 29, 2025 at 9:30 p.m. Chamorro Standard Time. So we hope that you continue to support us here on INCRadio Micronesia. And before we proceed with our end of the show, greetings and thank yous, we wanted to ask our guests if they had any shoutouts for this evening, starting with Ate Angie.
Oh, hello po to our local minister, Brother Ronald Carlos, from the local of Mangilao, and then his wife, Sister Jen, and to my family in the Philippines, to my nanay, to my sister, to my tata here in Bang.
Thank you, Ate Angie. And Ate Kui, did you have any shoutouts as well?
Yes, po. Just want to say hello to Brother Joven, Brother Julius, Brother Ron, and their family po, and all the brethren in the local Manila. Hello po, and to all the brethren in the District of Micronesia. Hello po, and good evening to all of you.
Thank you so much, sisters. We also have birthday greetings, actually. So tomorrow is actually the birthday of Brother Mark Kerlensha, the resident minister of Jigo. Happy birthday po! And then also on August 27, it is the birthday of the wife of our district minister, Sister Melody Sapilio. So happy birthday po to all of our brethren who is celebrating their birthday this month. Now, as we proceed to the rest of to end off our show, we will start with our greetings and thank yous, starting with Ate Maricel.
We always want to take the time to thank everyone who helps make our shows happen every week. First and foremost, to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Aranio Manalo. Here on the home front, we'd like to thank our District Minister, Brother Joven Sapilio Jr., as well as our Assistant District Minister, Brother Julius Malabanan. We also want to thank our CFO Overseer, Brother Roger Manzanilla Jr., and our DMM Advisor, Brother Roger Villegas Jr. And on to Sister Randy.
And we also would like to thank our crew members there on the island of Saipan, Sisters Bam, Brother Matt, and Sister Jillian. And here on the island of Guam, Sisters Arlene, Faye, Anne, Gwen, and Maricel, and Brothers Randy, Michael, Sean, and Joff. And we also want to give our thank yous to our station manager, Brother Wally Taray, and our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel Andaya. Thank you so much. And we wanted to say good night, Micronesia. We hope that you continue to support us, and we'll see you all next week.